Hey guys, what's up? It's Brent with Lykins Motorsports. We've got the shipment from Smith Brothers, and these will be the push rods for our small block Ford tunnel port build. So we were unable to get the 11/32 push rods. Smith Brothers doesn't do it, and Trend said they could do it, but it would take 4 to 6 weeks, and just not willing to wait almost 2 months for a set of push rods. We're not dealing with a lot of spring load, so you know, about 450 pounds, and small block Ford 8/200 deck push rods are very short, so the strength is there, the rigidity is there. I'm confident that we'll be okay with this. I generally just try to lean towards the biggest diameter and wall thickness that we can. So what we do have is some 3/8 135 wall thickness and some 5/16 118 wall thickness, so pretty beefy stuff. Push rods are dirty, so once you get them, open up the bags, spray brake cleaner, parts cleaner through the middle to get all the junk out of the inside, wipe them down on the outside. Alright, push rods are clean. Here's our lifters that we're going to use. Again, these are DLC Diamond Light Carbon coated tool steel lifters. Billet steel camshaft, so these do not rotate as much as what your typical cast iron Camcor and regular lifters would rotate. So it's a whole different animal. No break-in. You can run a lot of spring load if you have to. Extremely expensive. So these lifters are about $1,500 a set. The cam is not cheap either. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to get our lifters installed. I'm going to get all of these unbagged, cleaned up, and then we'll lube them up and put them in the block. Alright, we've got some heavy duty assembly grease on the bottoms of these lifters, and I'm putting some 50 weight oil on the outside. Now I've got it so slick that I can't get a hold of it. There we go, got one going in. If it wasn't for the expense, this would be just an awesome combination for a lot of older engines. So the reason that why we went with this is because of the pushrod tubes on these heads. If you get into a combination where the push rods rub, it is a pretty much an act of Congress to correct that. The tubes have to come out and new tubes have to be made and brazed in and all that stuff. So I like using as big of push rods as I can, and I like to try to keep the geometry pretty close to where it needs to be. So that was the reasoning behind going with the solid flat tappet, so I can keep the push rods fairly centered. When you get into a roller lifter, it raises the push rod seat up, and then it kind of messes with your geometry a little bit. Things were pretty close on, if I remember correctly, things were pretty close on the street engine that I did. And also, it's easier on things if you don't have to run a ton of spring load, especially in an endurance type situation. Road racing is not a heads up class or anything like that. You really don't have to go crazy wild with parts. As long as you have a good driver and a car that's set up well, you can get away with less horsepower. Almost done, 2 more to go. 50 weight oil is pretty thick, so these probably won't just slide down on their own accord. Alright, so next up is our 3/8 push rods. These are our intake side. I'm going to use some of this CMD high pressure lube. This stuff is very thick, so only on the intake sides. And then for our exhaust side. This CMD stuff is high pressure, so use it anywhere that you have a lot of load, such as a push rod or a rocker arm tip or something like that. Alright, then I'm going to come back and put some on this part of the push rod. And on the valve tip. Little 7mm valves look so tiny. Alright, so we're gonna put our rocker arms on now. Do this, you get both, for the purpose of putting them on, you get both lifters on the heel of the lobe. And then when you get them bolted down and torqued, then you run the valves as you would using the Evo method. Set your lash. Our lash is going to be 16 thousandths, and from my experience, cast iron block, cast iron head, the lash doesn't change much from cold to hot, so we're just going to set them at 16 thousandths. Alright, so here's the part where I just zone out and knock all these out. You guys would be bored to tears to watch all this, so I'll bypass it. But here's a shot of all of our pretty lifters and all of our big fat push rods. Intake, exhaust. I'll roll it over until that exhaust starts to open like that. I'll put our wrench on. We're going to set to 16 thousandths here. So I'm tightening it up and I'm backing it off until I can barely fit that feeler gauge in there like that. I'm going to get our adjuster snugged up. Then we'll do the exhaust. I know the camera's shaking, I'm sorry. Alright, passenger side is done. Got good coil bind clearance. Got a hair. Alright, we'll knock out the other side. Alright, we got all of our valves set, and we can just make a quick pass and see how much thread I have showing above my intake nut, and then see how much I have above my exhaust nut. It's okay if they differ, but you want all your intakes to be close and all your exhaust to be close. So that looks good, that looks good, that looks good, that one's good, that one's good, that one's good. Same deal here. Intake is a little bit thin, a little bit more on the exhaust. Bang, 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 bang. So, looking good. Alright guys, all of our valve lash is set. All of our rockers are set up the way they should be. And can't do anything else until well, we need an oil pan. I just checked on that a couple days ago. It's being repowder coated, so it should be coming back to us soon. The dry sump pump from 88 is coming. I ordered a 5-stage pump, so 4 suck, 1 blow. And once that gets here, then we can check all of our oil flow to our rockers and make sure everything's good there, and then we can finally put our intake manifold on for the last time. Here's our Peterson dry sump tank, 3-gallon, big healthy boy, and I'll need to figure out how to get all that mounted and ready for the dyno. But slowly but surely. Sometimes things happen a little bit slower than what we want, but it's all in due time. But a very healthy combination here. Alright guys, thank you for joining in again. I've put a lot of videos out here in the past couple weeks. That's not my normal, so don't expect that from here on out, but just a lot going on, and took some days off and didn't take any orders and just kind of cranked down on some engine stuff in here, so got a lot done. Hopefully next week we'll have our 4.6 liter single overhead cam motor in. I'm excited about that. And we can start getting it ready for the dyno, which will include a carbureted intake and getting all the coil packs and factory intake and wiring harnesses and all that stuff off, and setting up either a cam driven distributor or something like a crank trigger, which may be easier, I don't know. And then we'll need to get some headers and flex plate and a dyno hub and that sort of thing so we can dyno it. But that'll be an interesting project. I plan on doing a lot with it. So it's really easy to get compression out of those engines. The factory combustion chamber volume is 44 cc's. Trick flow is 38 cc's, and a completely flat top piston will get us, with the factory heads, about 12.5 to 1. With the trick flow heads, a little over 13. So be easy to get some compression and some RPMs out of it. I really think that engine will do quite well naturally aspirated and just singing a song up top. So we'll see. Thank you guys for chiming in and watching the progress on this. There'll be more to come. Once the dry sump stuff all gets here, then it'll get busy real quick because we've got a ton of hoses to make up and all that stuff. So it'll be a little bit involved. Hope you guys are having a good week. We're supposed to get dumped on here starting tomorrow night. Either a whole lot of snow or a whole lot of ice. I don't know which yet. So hope you're safe in whatever area you're in. Hope you guys take care. Talk to you soon. One more thing before I go. Just wanted to show you guys how we check to make sure everything is kosher with our valve lift. So this cam is 600 thousandths lift on the exhaust side. We've got 16 thousandths lash built into it. Let's see how much lift we get at the valve. All right, so we're moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50, 60, 70, 80. So 583. So 600 minus 16 thousandths lash, we should have 584. At the valve, we have 583. So this is how you dial in all your geometry and make sure that you're getting what you should be getting. And I'm pretty pleased with this setup right now. All right, you guys take care.